What if I told you Japan has carried the secret to staying young in ancient foods for over 1,000 years, and nobody thought to tell you? Most people credit it to genetics. That belief built a billion-dollar supplement industry. What's coming changes how you see all of this. Today, I am going to show you 10 Japanese superfoods that keep you young. Number 8 is a plant America spent 60 years trying to eradicate. Number 10 is not a food. Japan named it a national microorganism in 2006. Let's begin. Number 1. Matcha. The tea with two secrets. Japan built its tea culture around matcha for over 8 centuries. The body was the point. The reason comes down to two compounds and what they do together. Here's what that means. EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate, is one of the most studied antioxidants in aging research. L-theanine crosses the blood-brain barrier. It produces focused calm without sedation. One compound protects, the other steadies. That is the secret mechanism. Matcha delivers 10 times more EGCG than brewed green tea. You consume the whole leaf, not just the water it touched. Think of it as aging slowed and the mind cleared from the same bowl. Number 2. Natto. What samurai ate every morning. Natto has been part of Japanese daily life for over 1,000 years. It was eaten because it worked. Here's what it contains. Nattokinase, an enzyme produced during fermentation, breaks down fibrin, the protein that forms blood clots. Vitamin K2 directs calcium into bones instead of arteries. Two compounds, two separate systems. Both pointed at longevity. A 2020 study in the British Medical Journal linked regular natto consumption to measurably lower cardiovascular mortality. Your arteries and your bones are addressed in the same meal. Think of it as 1,000 years of cardiovascular medicine, before cardiology had a name. Now we're getting into the really powerful ones. Number 3. Wakame. Longevity that land plants can't make. Wakame has appeared in Japanese cooking for over 5,000 years. It is not a side dish. It is a longevity delivery system. Here's what makes it singular. Fukoidan, a sulfated polysaccharide found exclusively in brown seaweed, triggers a process called apoptosis, the body's mechanism for eliminating damaged cells before they accumulate. No vegetable grown in soil produces fukoidan. Researchers at Hokkaido University identified fukoidan's role in cellular cleanup over 2 decades of published study. Every bowl of miso soup with wakame you have ever eaten was doing something at the cellular level you had no name for. Land plants can't make it. Medicine is still trying. Number 4. Shiso. Chronic inflammation's natural enemy. Shiso appears on the edge of the plate. Most people move it aside. That is the mistake. Here's what it actually contains. Rosmarinic acid, found in high concentrations in shiso, blocks the enzymes that trigger chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is the mechanism behind accelerated aging. Research published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry identified shiso as one of the richest rosmarinic acid sources among culinary herbs. The decoration on your plate was always the medicine. Think of it as the most overlooked prescription in Japanese cuisine. Number 5. Miso, fermentation's oldest longevity secret. Miso has outlasted every dietary system that tried to replace it. That permanence is not coincidence. It is biological evidence. Here's what long fermentation produces. Miso fermented for 12 months or more generates GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid, a compound the brain uses to regulate stress and sleep. Short fermentation does not. Most commercial miso sold outside Japan ferments for weeks, not years. Traditional miso also feeds lactobacillus bacteria, strains directly linked to reduced gut inflammation in peer-reviewed research. Your gut and your brain are addressed by the same paste, in the same bowl, at the same meal. Think of it as 3,000 years of clinical trials, with breakfast. Number 6. Shiitake, the immune power mushroom. Shiitake has appeared in Japanese cooking for over 2,000 years. It was never just food. Japanese physicians prescribed it long before laboratories existed. Here's what the studies confirmed. Lentinan, a beta-glucan extracted from shiitake, was the subject of double-blind clinical trials in Japan, beginning in the 1980s. It modulates immune response by activating natural killer cells. The kitchen already knew. The lab took decades to catch up. A single dried shiitake contains more immune-active beta-glucan per gram than most commercial supplements. Every shiitake dish you have ever eaten was already working at your immune system's level. Think of it as 2,000 years of immune support. before the supplement existed. And here we are at number 7. Black sesame, cellular aging's oldest opponent. Black sesame has been prescribed in Kampo, Japan's traditional herbal medicine, for over 1,200 years. Not as food, as medicine. The dosage was intentional. Here's what makes it work. Sesamol and sesamolin, antioxidant compounds found in high concentrations in black sesame, suppress the oxidative stress that degrades cells over time. Oxidative stress is the mechanism behind visible aging. Research published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry linked sesamol directly to reduced markers of cellular aging in controlled studies. What Kampo physicians prescribed 12 centuries ago had a molecular explanation they never needed to name. The oldest prescriptions are sometimes the most precise. Number 8. Kuzu, the root that rebuilds from within. This is the one I teased at the beginning. The same root America spent 60 years trying to eradicate has been used in Japanese herbal medicine for over 1,000 years. It appears in Kampo prescriptions for gut health, inflammation, and recovery. Here's what the root contains. Isoflavones, plant compounds found in high concentrations in kuzu, reduce inflammatory markers and support gut lining integrity. The vine grows almost anywhere. The root is where the medicine lives. Research published in Japanese pharmacological journals linked kuzu isoflavones to measurable reduction in intestinal inflammation. Your gut lining is one of the most studied targets in longevity research, and kuzu has been addressing it for 1,000 years. Think of it as gut medicine that never needed a laboratory to work. Number 9. Amazake, ancient recovery in a single drink. Amazake has been consumed in Japan for over 2,000 years. It was given to the sick, the elderly, and the newborn, not as comfort, as nutrition. Here's what makes it singular. Amazake produced through koji fermentation, not alcohol fermentation, breaks rice down into free glucose, complete amino acids, and B vitamins through enzymatic action alone. No alcohol is produced. The nutrients are pre-digested. Koyic acid, a compound produced during koji fermentation, has been linked to reduced oxidative stress in peer-reviewed studies. Every compound points in the same direction. Your body absorbs what took centuries to perfect. Think of it as nutrition the body doesn't have to work for. And here we are at number 10. Koji, the organism behind Japan's longevity diet. Koji, Aspergillus oryzae, is not a food. It is a living organism. In 2006, Japan officially named it the national microorganism. Here's what koji does. It is the fermentation organism behind miso, amazake, sake, and soy sauce. Every fermented food on this list exists because of koji. It produces enzymes that break complex compounds into bioavailable nutrients. No other organism in the Japanese diet operates at this scale. What you have been eating was never 10 separate things. Japan's longevity diet was always one system, with one organism at the center. Japan's longevity was never a mystery. It was a menu. Every compound on this list, from EGCG in matcha to the isoflavones in kuzu root, was always in reach. The system has been running for over 1,000 years. It was never about genetics or medicine.